Yes,
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
The lady in the middle. Good morning.
Good. Madam.
Madam.
Wow. So this is our breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Show is happening a little differently this morning in light of yesterday's events.
Yeah. Very, very interesting evening into the night. We waited and we waited and we waited.
Was it 49 minutes? 49 minutes.
Yes, yes. And then a dramatic outro by Hussein Mohammed, and we went back to normal.
Right.
But you see, anyway, I have very strong. I'm trying to really be a journalist.
Yeah. So obviously that conversation coming up on the debate, and of course we'd love to hear what you thought. So go ahead and tweet at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Power Breakfast. The SMS lines are open as well, 22422.
It's going to be very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Wahiga Moro will be steering that particular one. They say Higgs are called the running mates for a reason.
Which is?
They ran.
They ran and ran away.
Ran away.
But Gabriel Muduma says they ran the opposite direction.
Right.
From where they should have been. Some people were saying that they were at Kasarani. Instead of where?
Oh, they got the location wrong. It was communication.
Alienda kujaza kasa.
Yeah.
Instead of the actual, but again, a failed attempt to interrogate the issues. But
that's right.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, along with the analysts who are here in studio, so they'll be coming onto the stage shortly and discussing that. But the rest of the show continues as normal. You got your man cave today?
Yeah, today it's man cave, and today we're talking about the issue of finances in marriage, but differently because of the ruling of the court that said that mkiwachana si lazima mwanamke apewe pesa yote if she is able to fend for herself.
Okay.
I think they should sit in that conversation.
All right, so I'll leave that to Sheila Kwamboka. Is she here today?
Yeah, she'll be
okay.
If you see an anonymous user tweeting against you while the show is going on, you know who that is.
Luke Troll.
I know you're not.
And just before that, we'll be talking innovations in beauty technology, shall we call it, where people are getting their eyebrows tattooed. So we have someone coming to share what that's all about in case you're interested.
All right. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, but you know, just like we said yesterday, there's only one guy who attended the debates, and to put it in context for Wahiga Moro's panel, let's listen in.
That's bringing new ideas that this nation needs in order to modernize and industrialize. Now, I'll be taken aback if I do not address why I'm here alone today. 6 of us are supposed to be in this first debate, but then just one is here. We applaud the efforts that the Debates Media Limited have taken to have this debate. They've given us a platform to tell Kenyans what we intend to do for them should they give us the mandate to run this nation. The rules were a bit difficult for some of us to take. We wrote to the team and said that it would be good if they adjusted and gave us a single podium. There has been communication between the candidates. There has been communication between the debates media. And actually, I would like to make my statement that I was appalled when I had a statement from the Deputy President that there has not been consultation about them with regard to the debates. Truth of the matter is, there has been constant communication. Dr. Kavinga and I decided to step up and seek your mandate to lead this nation because we have leaders who are not ready to account to the nation. We are leaders who want to take Kenya to the next level. There has been so much talk. What Kenya needs is action. Action that's driven by sincerity. Action that's driven by patriotism. So you ask who Mudiora is. Mudiora ni kijana wa Kenya, kijana mzalendo. And Dr. Japhet Kavinga Kaluyu, my presidential candidate, and I are ready for duty.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kariara, for that opening statement. Now, you describe yourself as Kijana. You'll be a heartbeat away from the presidency if at all your candidate is elected president come August the 8th. A heartbeat away from becoming commander-in-chief. Now, what would you say has prepared you for such an onerous task?
My journey as a leader began when I was a little kid. Fortunately, I have lived in almost every province of Kenya. I was born in Migori County. To be precise, a town called Isebania. My names, like they say in Kenya, betray me. When I say I'm Mudiora Kariara, people wonder how come I'm from Kuria. Now, I have lived amongst the Kuria. I went to school in Migori where I was with the Luo. I have lived amongst the Kalenjin. Today, I stand here not as one of the very privileged Kenyans that we have who live in the leafy suburbs of Nairobi. I actually live in Kawangware, where we have almost every tribe represented. I have seen the journey that Kenyans have to go through. Now, we were addressing what makes me think I'm qualified to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. I have led people. I have led teams. I've been a team player, and often when I stepped forward to take responsibility, I was given the chance because I'm a committed person. I know how to harness synergy. I know how to make a good call when I'm called upon. Like you guys in this auditorium here today, and Kenyans watching me will agree that I made the right call coming for this debate. So I'll definitely be making the right decisions for Kenya. I am an independent thinker, and I'm not afraid to call it the way I see it, especially when there is proof that my judgment is correct. So I know I can run this nation should a situation arise that requires me to be head of state. I'm bold, I'm courageous. More than all that, I know how to make people work together. What Kenya needs is a leader who's not only willing to listen, but who's also willing to lead from the heart. Like I said earlier, I know Kenya's struggles because I go through that every day. So again, like I said in my opening statement, I'm ready for duty. You can count on me.
Mudiora, you mentioned that you've led teams. What teams and in what way? Wow. Okay.
Welcome back. A recap there of what happened yesterday at the Catholic University of East Africa, the presidential running mates debate. Now, was it a show of pride? Was it a show of ego? Or was it a failure on the side of the media? The first presidential debate for the running mates was a one-man show out of the 8 that had been invited. The others either failed to show up or arrived late complaining of bias. Today we talk about the debate that never quite was, and what we can expect from the presidential debate that is slated for Monday next week. To help me discuss this, expert analysis from my panel in studio. I'm joined, starting with, on my immediate right, we have Gabriel Mudhuma, governance analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Next to him is the only lady on the panel so far. We'll need to make sure we rectify that in the next hour. Wangui Akilu, speech coach. Welcome to the program. Derek Banga, communication consultant. Many thanks indeed for being here with us today.
Glad to be here.
And of course, Ray Ochieng, familiar face on the program, a political analyst. Welcome to the program. Good. Let's start with taking a look or getting a feel of your reactions after what happened yesterday. And I'll start with you, Gabriel. Brief reactions. I'm sure all of us have a lot of thoughts about what we expected and what actually happened, but let me hear from you what your expectations were yesterday and what you actually saw.
Thank you and good morning. Honestly, Wahiga, I thought people would turn up.
Okay, you had your money.
I had serious bets I lost.
You lost.
You see, an environment like that is actually very critical to the content that the leadership represent. And the fact that they were absent and some actually played around with that platform, I think it is nothing but shameful. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
But for the person who showed up, kudos to Mr. Kariari. I think he managed himself very well. He was the talk of town, I think, him and Dennis Itumbi, because of the amount of mentions that Dennis got. And yeah, also. But those were the two really key leading highlights. You would have thought they were actually in the debate. But it's a chance that I think people should have taken seriously. And it's now gone. I don't know whether there will be another one. But from where I'm seated, I think everybody was running blames. I saw one very good MP that I know and I respect and revere tweeting that the whole debate was skewed to Jubilee. I thought that was kind of off the hook.
Skewed to favor Jubilee?
To favor Jubilee, actually. And I thought, really, I don't think it was skewed to favor anyone. If it actually was, skewed to favor anybody, it was the leading coalitions. So, and I think that's why the other presidential running mates were actually having a serious issue with it. But, I mean, look at this young guy who came out there. And he played by the rules. What was so difficult to having the rest just come and just, tell us, this is, to me, I think this was your 15 minutes of fame. This is where all the media houses were actually broadcasting the same event. If you turn across man. I think it's a chance that came and, just went away. And I think, Wahiga, I believe they'll regret.
Wangoi, from a communication perspective, what messages were the candidates sending out by not showing up, or showing up late and complaining of bias? What were they communicating ultimately to the Kenyan at home?
Disrespect. That was what came out. Disrespect. Half of communication is showing up. 2 is being responsive. So when you get a chance and then you are given this opportunity to come and state what you will do for the Kenyan people and you don't show up, that is the height of disrespect. It reeked of arrogance. It was even foolish of their handlers to actually not allow them to show up. I think they would have lived with their sending representatives. That's a story for another time. But by them not actually showing up, trying to sabotage the event, that was the height of disrespect.
Okay.
Yes.
Derek, from a communication perspective, could there be any strategic wisdom in not showing up for a debate like the one we had yesterday? Could it work in favor for any individual?
And I'm glad you asked me that question, Wahiga, because yes, I think it's very easy for us who are pundits to come here and pile on them and say, why did you show up, and all of that. So let me take a kind of divergent viewpoint. Let me play devil's advocate in terms of strategic. You know what? As an incumbent, polls are in your favor. There is nothing that can compel you to participate in the debate. And by the way, this is not precedent. We have seen this happen in the UK. Theresa May didn't show up for a debate. She sent somebody, a surrogate, instead. Ultimately, we know what happened.
Yes.
So I think Jubilee was certainly looking at it from that point of view. What do we have to lose? And by the way, coming into an environment where it's a little bit more structured, you are there in front of the entire nation. In order for you to perform well, you need to have practiced that debate. You need to have been able to have put your policies together and all of that. Something which I think they had not had time to do. So in their minds, it was better for them not to show up and be made to look like they hadn't prepared for that debate. That is what I think.
She said disrespect. You say unpreparedness. Ultimately, that's what you feel.
I think that's basically. I think that's why they didn't show up.
Can I jump in?
Parties, yes.
Go ahead
and say I hear the disrespect. And it's actually a valid reason. But why didn't they push that? I mean, it would have been okay for them to say, all right, so we're not very prepared for this. Can we do
have been able to say that on live TV?
Actually, that would have been more legit. If they sent a report and said, we will not show up because we need more time to prepare for this. Could you please move the date? It's much more diplomatic. It's responsive. But for them to say we're sending representatives, we're not showing up, or we're showing up for the second one, that's...
Ray, would you have accepted an apology? We don't have enough time, and yet this young man somehow found time in his schedule to get to prepare for this debate?
Thanks, Wahiga. I think one is that they were not. It's not a case of unpreparedness. Two hypotheses here. We don't want to buy the hypothesis that there was no communication. That is not there. Now, there are two critical areas. One, the political class, it was a battle of institutions, and definitely the political institution and the media. And this is a point whereby media was being told, you cannot come from a nightclub and conduct a Catholic mass. You see, you cannot just transit. You cannot just transit like that. It was a war of who is the pontiff in this matter. And the political class was saying, you see what? And I think one of the first disclaimer that I want to put is that definitely the political class, there is a lot of mistrust in institutions. And you've even heard what Gabriel has even said. One side thinks that this is skewed to the other side. And we also know, the political class also knows, they've used the same media to wash their dirty linens. They've known that media has been bought. And first of all, we want to thank RMS. We are here not because we've not paid for any opportunity to be here. And you should we should applaud it for that. And you know very well, this was a media limited thing. Definitely, we've seen there are some media houses that have done dismally in terms of holding the fabric and the nationhood of this of where we are. And this has been to me, it's an institutional crisis. I think the political class has been dead on arrival, and the media has been on an oxygen machine. What they just did, they just pulled off the oxygen machine, and they said, you see what, media, you have to take responsibility for this. Now the other question is, who has lost? To me, I don't see the majority of Kenyans have not lost. Actually, it's the undecided voters. And I also believe one thing on my final conclusion on this matter. I believe that they must have done an audit, and they must have also analyzed, done a risk assessment of how this was going to impact them. So what are the political class saying? They are saying that, guys, this thing is done and dusted. Maybe they know what we don't know. Maybe they know, either cohort knows we have won this thing. Another group knows we have lost. So it doesn't matter. So what they're just saying, it doesn't matter. Our votes are intact.
For one person for whom it mattered yesterday was a young man who showed up, the running mate of Japhet Kuluya. I think we still let's listen in just a little bit to some of his comments yesterday. He had his 30 minutes of fame. The whole country was watching him. Every station just tuned in to listen to what he had to say. Let's just revisit a few of his comments.
Community, so let's not go for it. People are shying away from the ultimate responsibility, which is what we decided we're not going to take.
So what do you understand the role of the Deputy President in Kenya to be?
The Deputy President of Kenya is to act as President in case for some unfortunate, or not unfortunate, in case the President is not able to discharge his duty. He's supposed to be a symbol of national unity. He's supposed to be an office that offers leadership to the entire nation. So I understand the responsibilities that come with this position are huge, and I know I'm ready to handle that.
And how is it your position would weigh into that of your candidate as President, and you, if elected, as Deputy President? You've talked about your office, if elected, Deputy President. It's about national unity, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
And that if some misfortunes happen and you'd have to take over office. But how is it you come in supporting your candidate, if elected as President?
Well, I have an experience with the people of Kenya. I have an experience with the problems that face this nation. So every step that my president will be taking, I'll be there with him to help him make an informed choice about what action needs to be taken. I'm there on a supporting role for as long as he's able to discharge his duty, and when delegated to undertake national duties, I'll step up and do that.
Yes. You said that the principal role of the Deputy President is to assist the President in discharging his duties. So far we've had one Deputy President.
Well, just in case you didn't get a chance to catch the presidential running mates debate yesterday, we'll keep giving you snippets here on the Power Breakfast Show. But let me start with you, Gabriel. As that young man sat in the waiting area, and we kept seeing the reporters there going there, showing that he's the only one who's arrived, come back, what do you think was going on in his mind, realizing that nobody's showing up?
Well, up until the time he walked on the stage, I think that's when it dawned on him that he'll be the only candidate. And to me, I give him kudos. I remove my hat off for this gentleman. You know, everybody has been asking, you know, we want the space, we want the stage. I've been questioning, Dida, where's your running mate? I mean, Akurokot, where's your running mate? I mean, this is what this is your, you call it 30 minutes of fame instead of 15. And I think the man himself carried himself with what you'd call the element of courage. He knew his stuff. I mean, you can actually hear what he's talking about to a given extent. If you look at social media, actually also took him by storm. It's like, you know what, we've seen the next leader, and actually he really amplified the qualities of a true leader. So not shying away, that was a very good thing, and whoever encouraged him, I think that's the best way to move. But what I take home from Mr. Kariari is the fact that he played with the rules. That to me is a big win. You know, he was not like the rest who say, no, we want the same airtime that's given to Kalonzo and the deputy president, this is what we want, blah blah blah. No. It was not like Ray said, it's not something you paid for. I mean, and this is where everybody is watching, the entire nation is watching. I mean, hardly, when you, apart from national events probably, there's no other event that all media stations, all cameras are facing one person. So, you know, that I think he may have acted surprised, but I think I like the fact that he brought in the new energy and what we were able to see. But let me jump onto something that Ray has said, and my good friend has alluded to it at the same time. Probably why majority of these people never showed up. And really, let's talk about the two. And I'm sorry to do this. Let's talk about the deputy president. I mean, this is where we are heading. And, you know, let's take this thing serious. I think probably they've looked at their political crystal ball and realized, you know what, this is how, you know, our ducks are sitting. Some are swimming in a row, some are not. So if you go on top, if you go on these cameras, what am I displaying? What am I representing? And probably they've seen, you know, either it's strategic, like I said yesterday, it's either strategic, or you have this nerve, you may not perform. My good friend has said, a debate you need to be prepared. You know, this is where probably the viewership, you know, they'll ask you questions, and the questions will be read out to you. You're not expecting, you know, so I had somebody, you know, making fun that, you know, somebody might ask the DP, hey, you know, what happened to, you know, how did they keep Pindu arrive? So, that is what, you know, maybe people would be running away from. This is the platform you get to engage with the common Mwananchi. But,
and the fact that they did not attend means what?
But Wahiga, there's one thing that I think should be said. If there's any person who lost the stage, was Kalonzo Musyoka. If I was Kalonzo Musyoka, you would have been fighting to get me off that stage. I would have beaten Jubilee to submission. I mean, you have,
and what if the DP was waiting in the car?
You see, you have you purchased front row tickets.
You raised an interesting point that I want you to help me with. They say that when people are talking about you, whether positively or negatively, that it shows that you matter, and you send across a message. How would you describe to people outside Kenya, you know, the move by the Deputy President and former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, and how ultimately it might work in their favor? Because as you can see, we've spent 5 minutes talking about Kariara, but we've deviated into the big two, and it seems that will dominate our conversation. Might they have scored by not attending?
They might have, actually. You know, they might have, by getting us to actually talk about them,
which
and talk about what they did not do, and talking about their disrespect. But on the other hand, and this is now what concerns me, is this keeps coming to mind as we're sitting here, that the race is not to the swift nor the battle to the strong. That it's possible that they're sitting cozy in, you know, what Derek talks about, a great, how do you call them, polls. They're doing well at the polls, and we are talking about them, and you know, we are saying, you know, Kalonzo would have hammered the DP would have been sitting in his car. So we're talking about all of this. But then the thing is, I keep wondering to myself, did yesterday get us to the point where the citizenry might actually get tired? and might actually pull a fast one. I don't know. I'm just sort of speculating it. And then now that we're looking at the Theresa May case, because that was the only, yesterday Derek and I were going back and forth about, is there precedence for this? Has this been done before, until we picked that up? And she did suffer. She got into the premiership, yes, but she has a dent on her legacy. So, but then you're looking at these two gentlemen, I mean, the big two, who we are talking about right now. And, I mean, in addition to not showing up, they already have, other issues that we don't quite look at them right. We have, Kipindu Pindu on the one hand, like you say.
Questions that they will be put to task.
They have a questionable, legacy on the both of them. But I don't know, this one I am watching and waiting. I keep thinking I have not seen this before.
Derek, if you were on the communication team of Deputy President William Ruto, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, what sort of messaging would you be working on today, if any?
Yeah, that's a great question. Certainly in damage control, if you go by what social media says. First of all, before I answer that question, let me just address quickly what Gabriel said, and even what you said. I think it's very cynical, first of all, and also, Ray, if you're saying this is factored in because it's politics, I'm not a political analyst, but I think that's very cynical for those of us who are sitting at home waiting for you to talk to us about your policy. The modern foundation of democracy was founded on people being able to engage the people who lead us. This goes back all the way to ancient Greek times, where the leaders were brought in and put to task and asked to explain why and how they are leading or doing certain policies. So it's very cynical to say, I think this is factored into politics, we don't need to come and debate. Let's just get that out of the way. Secondly, this young man, you know what, my heart is warmed. I spend the majority of my time working with young people, trying to help them improve their communication skills. The fact that he could stand there, and he stood for close to half an hour, 45 minutes, and articulate his thoughts and the thoughts of his running mate, warms my heart to see that there are young people who are actually taking this seriously. So let's get those out of the way. As far as what these two teams can do in terms of damage control today, I think social media, obviously, they need to be able to get their message out. I think there may be recourse in terms of perhaps I don't want to call it a mini debate, but perhaps some sort of forum, maybe some sort of a talk show where they can come and they can articulate. Because really, what we were looking to hear was the policy. This was not the politicking. This was, you have your manifestos. Can you explain to us how you intend to execute these policies? I mean, this country is facing a myriad of issues, whether it's debt, whether it's corruption, whether it's jobs, whether it's the, trickle-down economics, and this is an opportunity for them to engage us, and for us to also to be able to engage them. That is, I think, if I was on the communications team, the direction I would be going.
Okay, we're about to take a short break, but before we do, let me ask you something. Are we being unfair to Deputy President Ruto and Kalonzo? Are we being overly unfair? Are we being dramatic?
Yeah, I think we are becoming unfair. We are becoming unfair to this because they have just shown us this is Kenya. It's a reflection of who we are, and they've just shown it. And let me highlight what you see, Derek. My good Bible tells me about a cult. A cult is a small group that operates in the sideline and in hiding. And Derek and is a cohort of good Kenyans who believe
a small group,
a sect that was persecuted yesterday, that believe that this country can debate on issues, and it's good because this represents the future for. Actually, this is where we should be. But a small sect was persecuted yesterday. People who believe that this nation should vote on issues, and that's what they just proved. The political class told us, look, Kenya, we are telling you guys, we are still not on the issues, which is sad. I'm saying it is sad. It is sad.
It is sad. We take a break with a comment with the words that it is sad, but we'll be back with so much more with Nakano. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show live on Citizen TV.